Hello and welcome. This is Angie with thecountryschiccottage.net. So today I've been stalking my local dollar store for some Christmas crafting supplies. I actually found a ton of stuff. So today I'm going to actually make 3 ornaments with dollar store supplies. So the first one you may have seen where people add glitter to the inside of the ornaments. I'm going to kind of put my spin on that and add sort of a farmhouse touch to the top, so don't miss that one. The next one is my dollar store had mini mason jar ornaments. Already have the top on them upside down. Super cute. So we're going to make little snow globe ornaments with a tree inside. And last but not least is my favorite, and that is a photo snow globe. So actually adding a custom photo to the inside of these. They're actually plastic jars, so not too heavy for any tree. Adding a few dollar store crafts to the inside, and you have a cute snow globe with a photo inside. So let's take a look at the supplies we'll need for all 3 crafts and then jump in and make each one of them. So here are the supplies you'll need. Some mini trees, some mini pine cones. Now I will mention if the supply is not from the Dollar Tree, these all are. Some twine, a couple different types of ribbon, these very small styrofoam balls that come in a package at the dollar store, faux snow. I have a couple of these little cups. I'm sure you can find something similar at the dollar store, and we're just going to use those to craft, like put our Mod Podge in, just to make it a bit easier. Then you'll need some small plastic globe ornaments, these mini mason jar ornaments, and then these small plastic jars. I found these in the craft section of the dollar store, and they have kind of a flat side. Then you'll need a small tree or 2, styrofoam ball, some glitter, and now the supplies I did not get at the dollar store. A paintbrush, which I'm sure you can find at the dollar store, a marker, which I'm sure you can as well. You also need a craft knife, which you may not be able to find at your dollar store. And then I'm going to use a Mod Podge Ultra as well as regular Mod Podge Matte. These 2 you may not be able to find at your dollar store. My dollar store has this Mod Podge Matte most of the time, and it can probably be used in substitute for this for the project I'm making. And then you'll need some printed pictures, which of course you'll need to print at home or have printed somewhere else. And we'll start simple with this glitter filled ball. So you may have seen the glitter filled balls before, and we're going to kind of give it a rustic farmhouse spin with some mini pine cones and some twine. So let's get started on that one. And I did forget to mention for these that we'll also be using a glue gun. So if you don't have one, pick one of those up. A lot of times you can find small ones at your dollar store actually. So for this one, we're going to use a round ball ornament. Now this is just the plastic one from the dollar store. They had big ones and large ones at my dollar store. The smaller were 2 for $1. And we're just going to remove this top first of all. And we're going to pour in some Mod Podge Ultra. So we're just going to shake it well. So the benefit of using the Ultra is it's a liquid and it'll come out much easier than the thicker regular formula. So I like the Ultra for this. You can also find tons of different options for different adhesives you can use. You know, if you look at some different tutorials, I love the Ultra for this. And I just swirl it around and make sure to cover the entire inside of the ornament. And then I just slowly turn and pour it right back into the container so that I have a minimum amount inside the ornament. And then I find these small tubes of glitter, it takes almost a whole tube for the small ornament. So if you're going to do the big size ornaments from the Dollar Tree, you may need 2 tubes of glitter per ornament. And so I just dump basically the entire tube inside of this ornament and just start moving it and shaking it and getting it covered completely. And you can cover the opening at the top with something like your thumb and start shaking that around. And then the excess glitter you can pour back in here. I will note, however, that you could have some decoupage on the glitter that comes out. So it may not be great for all projects, but you could definitely recycle what little does come out. And so let's try to pour that back in so you can see. So that's how little, if you can see that, like there's just very, very little left in my vial. might be enough for an accent for a project, but that's about it. Now, we'll need to allow this to dry. Basically, overnight would be great because you want to let the inside dry completely. So allow it to dry with the top off overnight. Then to finish this one off, once it's dry, we are just going to add the hanger back to the ornament. Just squeeze those middle pieces together and just push them right back in there. And then we can tie it with a bit of twine at the top. Now this makes a rustic version. If you don't like the rustic look, you can definitely add ribbon here instead. We'll just tie that up. And then we'll just use our hot glue gun and a few of these mini pine cones to accent the top of the ornament. Then once you're done adding a cluster of pine cones to the top, this one is ready to hang on your tree. Next up, we're going to use this cute mason jar ornament. It already has a hanger and a string at the top. I'm going to use the Mod Podge Ultra again. This one would definitely work with regular Mod Podge. I just find the Ultra kind of convenient for this part. So what we're going to do is take the styrofoam ball and we're going to cut a small portion off of this that will fit inside of the lid for our mason jar. And I'm just using a craft knife. You could use a serrated knife from your kitchen. Like this part, you use just about anything. We're just cutting the top off of this ball. Once you score it all the way around, you can just kind of twist and that top will just come right off. And as you can see, I cut a little bit large. That's fine. We'll just use our craft knife and trim away some of that outside edge. And then you just want to make sure there's enough lip around this outside that your jar will fit inside, and I think there is for this one. So we'll go ahead and first we want to add snow to the top of this to kind of hide the styrofoam. So I've just poured a little Mod Podge Ultra into this little container and I'm going to dip my styrofoam piece in and then dip that styrofoam piece into some fake snow from the Dollar Tree. And now we have our foam covered up. We can just use a little bit of hot glue and put that right in the center of that mason jar lid. And then this tree is going to be way too big for the mason jar ornament, but these are the trees they have at the dollar store. So we're just going to use some scissors, cut the top off that tree, and now it is the perfect size to add to our styrofoam piece. So we'll just glue that right in the center. And now you want to set this aside and allow it to dry. So we want that decoupage to dry where that's holding onto the snow. We want that to dry completely before we add it to our ornament. So we'll set this aside, allow it to dry, come back and finish our ornament. So now that everything is dry, we can take the top of this ornament and we're going to add some of these super small styrofoam balls. So these make quite a mess, but we're going to attempt to just sort of pour a little bit in. We just need a few, and that's going to be the snow around our tree. And then we'll just add that lid to the mason jar. Now we have a cute snow globe. Now we're just going to finish this off with a little bit of ribbon. So it already has some string to hang it by, but I like adding ribbon around this bottom portion. So we'll just cut the ribbon to length. And then we'll just use hot glue to secure it all the way around that lid, just to add a finishing touch. And now our cute mason jar snow globe is complete. Next up is a snow globe ornament again, but this time we're going to add a picture to the inside. So we'll just need one of these plastic jars, and it kind of has a flat side. So we're going to hold that flat side up to the picture we're going to use and get the area that we would like in our ornament. And then we're going to flip that over, and we're going to use the flat side of that ornament to trace around. And then I can use those marks to cut the picture to size. And then we want to add that picture to the inside of the ornament. So I do recommend just regular decoupage for this. We'll just use a paintbrush, and we're going to go inside the ornament and paint the decoupage on one of those flat sides. And then we'll just take that picture and just add it to the inside. Press it down into the decoupage well. And we're just going to set this portion aside and allow that to dry. So now we have a picture inside of a cute jar. Now we want to work on the snow globe portion, which we're going to start with the lid. So once again, just like the last ornament, we are going to use a styrofoam ball. And this is actually the same styrofoam ball I used for the last one. And it almost fits in here. So we just actually need to trim a little bit off. We'll just make sure that fits inside and that there's room all the way around that outer edge for the lip of your jar. If there's not, just trim a little bit more with your craft knife. That looks just about right. And we're going to treat this one in the same way as the last one. So I'm actually going to use the same solution and dip my styrofoam in first. And then just dip that right in that fake snow. Then we'll use a little hot glue right on the lid. And put that ball right in the center. Now this time we don't want a big tree on our snow globe because that might block our picture. So we're going to actually use these tiny trees from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to add 3 randomly around this. And I'm just going to use a little bit of hot glue. And then I'm just going to really press them into that styrofoam so they get seated really firmly, because the bottom of the trees are flat and you're pressing them into a dome surface. You can also, these have wire on the inside, so you can also use that to kind of bend them up and make them look like basically they're standing straight up. Then we're going to want this to dry completely as well. So we're going to let both pieces dry and then we'll finish assembling. Then once this is dry, we're going to assemble it basically the same way. So we want a few of these small styrofoam beads into the jar portion. And then we're going to screw on this mason jar lid. And then we'll need something to hang this by. So we're just going to take a piece of ribbon, tie a knot at the top. And we're actually going to hang this jar on the tree upside down. And the jar is not heavy at all. It is plastic. So all I'm going to do is add some hot glue, a puddle right to the top. And then I'm going to stick the loop of this ribbon into that puddle of hot glue. And we'll just wait till that cools. And then our little photo snow globe will be ready to hang on the tree. So all of these are so easy to make and super inexpensive. One trip to the dollar store and you can get everything you need to make like a whole Christmas tree full of ornaments if you wanted to. But definitely pick up the supplies if you loved any of these ornaments to make them for your own tree. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give us a thumbs up. If you have any questions about anything we've covered, feel free to ask those in the comment section below. If you haven't already, head on over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. We have crafty videos all the time, and I am definitely going to be headed to the Dollar Tree some more to make some more Dollar Tree crafts. So you'll want to be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of those. So thank y'all so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.